idea is fixed and definite. Until he gives us those specifications, we cannot, we cannot specify him, nor put him in a box. But what we know now is like that is what we are. We've got, and we sort of embrace it, or accept it as being a fact, as being the truth, only because it's coming from these books. And I want to prove that the books cannot back these things up by having all those relations that we are having, those verses, those references, to sort of suggest at the end of the day that the book is not that authentic. It cannot stand in the position that we are trying to put it. We can't let the book be something that has really come from him. And even if we do, there is nothing wrong. I mean, we can do what we are already doing, that, But the fact is that we do it and we get away does not mean that it is right. Now, what am I doing here? I'm trying to look at the words. My willingness is there to accept whatever it is that is true, whatever it is that makes sense, what is logically acceptable. If it is not, then I will then generate doubts, which we all would not, we all wouldn't accept in any circumstance. In the same situation, I wouldn't think you also will accept if you realize that there are loopholes in there which suggest that it is not authentic. So if it is not authentic, then definitely God has not told us the things that we are trying to say in terms of even the definition we have given him. Then that means this does not even support whatever we think of God, or whatever we've made of our God. If I point you at some of the instances, like the Bible quotations which have got relevance to the Quran, I can point out one, like a statement like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If you go to the Surah book, the Surah, let's say if you open the Surah 5 verse 45, Surah 5 verse 45, Surah 5 verse 45 have got a similar quote has quoted the same thing, which is referred also in the same Bible, which sometimes it does. It says here from Surah from Surah 5. It says here from Surah 5 that 45. What we have in Surah 5:45 is suggesting to us that an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, which has been taught in the Quran version, which is also an Abrahamic claim, the Abrahamic descendants. We ordain, Surah 5 verse 45, we ordain therein for them life for life, eye for eye, nose for nose, ear for ear, tooth for tooth, wounds equal for equal. But if anyone remits the retaliation by way of charity, it is an act of atonement for himself. And if any fail to judge by the limit of what God has revealed, they are no matter than wrongdoers. If it's the same thing which also can be pointed out from the Bible, so similar to that kind of rule. They've been ordained, for an eye for an eye, a life for a life. If somebody take your life, you take that person's life. If somebody take your eye, you take that person's eye. It's like one-on-one thing. You pay back exactly what is due you, as what has been done to you. That's ordained for them to have that kind of interaction with one another, whether it's an enemy or within themselves. I mean, it's a general something acceptance that they have to follow through. But if anyone remits the retaliation and by way of charity, remits it. He has something to sort of replace that kind of. I'm sure you understand what it means here. In a charitable way, in a way of charitable, have able to pay it with something. Then it is an act of atonement for himself. And if any fail to judge by the light of it, what God had revealed, they are no matter than wrongdoers. So they can be condemned in that matter. If you get this, if we check that, we can see for what is there in the Bible to see, to sort of compare. I'll get that out for you in a minute. You know, in the Bible, in the Bible, the comparable is Exodus 21:24. In Exodus 21:24, it sort of reveals something which says that Exodus 21:24. It is revealed here, and my wrath will become hot, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Exodus 21, verse 24. Exodus 21, verse 24. It says here, and eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for foot. But let's start for 23. Where it says, but if any harm follows, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for 25, burn for burn, wound for wound, strip for strip. 26. If a man strikes the eye of his male or female servant and destroys it, he shall let him go free for the sake of the eye, for the sake of his eye. And if he knocks out the tooth of his male or female servant, he shall let him go free for the sake of his tooth. And when it comes to servant, there's something related, because the servant somehow, his life was somehow, because he's already in a slavery thing. So if such a harm has been done to him, it's equal to setting him free. But it's like a treatment of servants. That's the main topic. But this is a law at that time that Moses, in the times of Moses, he had to let this be set among the Jewish people. Had to accept this as something which they should practice or do as a law, as a normal thing to sort of make their judgments and pass judgment onto themselves in some way. And so the same practice is linked to what I read from the Quran just a few minutes ago regarding Surah 5:45. It's also comparable, the same sort of test, just the same as this, in the same regard. They also will go further to explain the remitting of war. So you have any remittance to place, that then you will be considered, and if not, then you'll be seen as an evildoer. In the same sense, it will go down to express all that in Exodus 21, verse 24. You can probably start from 21 and you 21 to verse 21 down to 24 or down to 26, and you can read through the whole chapter of 21 and you get a gist of what the message is really about. And they are linked. They have some tests that really matches up, or somehow they are comparable in so many ways. We could also go further to find suggestions that was made in the sense of let's say Surah LIX and verse 6, I'm sure we talk about it. It's